Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Middleton Nighttime broadcast, episode 3, titled "Growing Up." God,
Is that really the title?
yeah, "Growing Up." That is the title.
Oh, yep. I see here on the notes.
Um,
We have notes. We're professional now.
bullet point. Okay, guys, welcome to episode 3. I'm just gonna say this now before I do all introductions and we get to our icebreaker. Small trigger warning, just maybe, because this might get a tad serious. This also might be a tad disappointing for some of you that maybe still like have your head in the clouds when it comes to maybe like movie theater life. But I felt like this was very good to talk about because Ricky and I touched on this like very, very little towards the end of episode 2. And while I was editing the last episode, a lot of things kind of came up recently. I got a burp. I don't want to burp on my microphone.
While we're going at you're peeking a bit on my end.
Emma?
Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit.
So
I guess burp away.
it just peaks
fuck
the
it at that
microphone.
point. Yeah, just fuck it.
It just peaks the microphone. It sounds horrible.
Oh, wait, I can't swear. That's right.
Bitch, you can...
No. We can swear, but we gotta be better.
We're trying to be professional. Luckily, it's funny. Yesterday I was on YouTube's studio and I found all these sound effects that I can put in place of swearing, like a freaking duck quacking.
Perfect.
But yeah, so
Seals.
for this episode, yes, it is growing up. If this episode by any chance is not for you, please, we understand this is a lot more of a serious episode than the last two. But there is a lot of educational stuff that will be in this, and we're not going to get into anything that I would consider depressing. But some people, especially in, today's age, can find kind of depressing to get more of a realistic kind of slap of reality sent to you when you talk about life. So just take this all with a grain of salt because everyone is different. And what we say here may not apply to you.
Oh, not at all. Like, I don't ever want to give off the vibe. And I'm going to say this now, ongoing to episode 600. What we say is just our opinion. If it doesn't apply to you, that's perfectly fine. We're not trying to preach.
Yeah, no. Good Lord, we've had enough people preaching and trying to direct our lives enough to be like, the last thing I want to do is ever make you guys feel like you have to follow what we say when we're literally...
No. We're just two dudes.
We're two guys from the East Coast just trying not to sweat our balls off during this summer humidity. But for everyone, yes, Ricky is here again.
Hello.
And so surprisingly, we're actually recording this a little bit. We're probably halfway through the month, so it's probably been about 2-3 weeks since we've recorded the last podcast. Which is nuts, considering it feels like time freaking flies when I am doing my job now. Which I guess is a good thing, because, like I said, Ricky, dude, I want hoodie weather. I'm
Me
so sick
too,
of sweating.
man. Tired of this stuff.
I'm so tired of just like, I mean, I'll be blunt. I'm so tired of just having swamp ass.
I can't relate, but I can definitely sympathize.
I mean, Ricky has to deal with worse humidity than I do. He lives in Florida, so yeah, I think you have it worse than I do. Because it's funny. Here, like if it's raining or something, humidity gone. But if it's daytime and the sun's out, no. You're gonna open that door and your body's just gonna
I was about to
water.
say, Florida, no matter time or day, if it rains, especially for like a couple minutes, it doesn't cool it off. You would think, oh, it's going to cool it off. No, it is now humid. It feels like you open the oven door and now you're wet.
Ugh.
And it like sticks to you like napalm. Ugh.
But good news and like revelations is one, I might have Ricky along with his lovely boyfriend in the future on this podcast.
Yes.
And we still have the plan for that because just like all of us, we all have different work schedules, so we have to, finagle and figure stuff out.
Yeah, he's currently working while we're recording this.
Yeah. What time does he get off?
Oh, wow.
Like 11?
Yeah, like 11, 12. Kind of varies.
At least
Worst
nice.
case, 12, but yeah. That's
At least he doesn't do it overnight.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
But, yeah, besides that, I wish I could honestly say, like, hasn't been too much between this episode and, like, the last one. But I keep telling my friends this. They're like, man, I'm living such mundane days, and there's nothing, like, big and grand happening. I'm like, dude.
I would kill for that.
We've been in 3 years of chaos, and now you're complaining about mundane? It's like, do you know how much I craved? Like, sure, I'm still, like, treating every single day like I could contract COVID to the highest degree, even though I have 3 fucking shots in me. Putting that out there.
It's being cautious. It's not that you're, like, afraid. You just don't want to get sick.
But I don't. For anyone, like, who's gotten the booster shot, I'm just saying here, the booster shot kicks your butt. Because the day you get it, you don't really feel anything besides, like the little bit of soreness where they put the needle in. The next day hits you like a truck. And then the next day you might have like a small little like lingering migraine, but you feel like you could literally take on the world once it's out of your system. Well, I guess technically defeated by your system. That's how it works.
Yeah, actually. All you're doing is putting antibodies in there.
But, yeah, there's not much. I've officially been at my job now for 2 months.
We talked about that last time on the podcast, right?
I think I was there for about a month and a half. Now it's officially 2 months.
Nice.
And I finally understand everything. Well, everything at least to what pertains to my job right now. Obviously, my job has growing, like, growth opportunities. But right now, being a beginner, I've understood everything that I have to understand as of right now. So on my end, there isn't too much besides everything that inspired this episode that I don't really want to give away till we get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you guys a few things. Well, I'll let Ricky say it because he's had a few fun and cool and inventive things come his way as of pretty much yesterday. And you guys might actually see it because Ricky might be doing content with it on his channel.
Oh, that I was lost, I'll be honest, for a second. I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm like,
sure.
Literally looked at my own like icon. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm excited.
Do you want to explain to the people the stuff that you got?
I got a new PNG Tuber asset library. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, like
I'm literally making new sets and skits and stuff as we speak, so hopefully that'll be shown off in some of my streams that I plan on doing as well.
Yeah, and
you and I need to collab and play like a game one day, even if it's like balloon tower defense or golf. Remember golf with friends?
I wonder if my tablet could run golf with friends.
Oh, probably. It's a basic game. If not, we'll get like another golf game. They're all about the same. Golf with enemies.
That, or we just get a few people together and play friggin' Cards Against Humanity online.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
But,
that'd be raunchy though. We couldn't show that on the podcast. But we can on my channel, so go ahead and... No, I'm kidding.
If you want the spicy stuff, go over to Ricky's channel.
I don't care if my job finds that. Just kidding.
But, I guess, just getting into it, we're gonna talk about our first topic, which is titled Glitz and Glamour.
Ah, yes.
Now, now the reason I have titled Topic 1 this, and again, like I said, I don't want this to ever deter or make anyone feel disappointed, but I'll speak for me. I will say this until the day I die, because I still don't feel like I've completely removed myself from this aspect of my life. I am what one would call, and I'm taking this a step further, A gold spoon in mouth with diamonds child that grew up very sheltered. I didn't even know about 9/11 till I was in 8th grade because I was so sheltered. And
Whoa, I didn't know about that.
yeah, nuts, isn't it?
Whoa.
But when I talk about this, I want to talk about glitz and glamour because especially recently, now that I am starting to become financially independent, just seeing how expensive some stuff can be if you screw up, or if you like say like, oh, I want to get a car fresh out of college, like a brand new one. Okay, well, think about this. You got to pay the monthly for the car. You have to pay the monthly or annual for your now increased what is it called, property tax, and your insurance also goes up because you got a brand new car. And that was a small slap in the face of like, hey, it's like, hey Jake, you're gonna need at least like $1,000 to $2,000 more than you're making to still be able to live comfortably and happily pay all that stuff for the car. And that's just a car. That's not even saying like getting an apartment, having to pay other bills, having to pay medical, dental, everything. So the glitz and glamour section is going to be talking about basically any moments in our lives where we've had like, whoa, this isn't like what I thought it was going to be. And for me, right now, personally, with the biggest demon in the world, money.
Yep.
I wish I could say it wasn't money, but money is what makes the world go round. And here's the thing, and Ricky, you might agree with me on this. Money can provide people momentary happiness.
Oh, I agree without a doubt on that.
But it never buys you long-term happiness.
No, I see some people, not lately, it's like over, 5-6 years, my friends. I've seen some of my friends be like, once I get this thing, and it's like some big expensive item, once I get this, things are going to be better, my life's going to change, I'm going to do all this stuff. Alright, they finally get it. Nothing changes, they don't do the stuff they said they were going to do, and then they forget they even have it, and it becomes a dull, mundane thing in their life. Whether it be like a car, or a new, I don't know, Xbox or something. It's a material like item, it doesn't really do anything, it just exists. Whereas like a long-term investment, such as like, oh, I'm gonna get a house, I'm going to, do something to better my life and push myself forward. It's like, I got an Xbox, woohoo, I don't know. People focus on the material items, I guess.
Like, here's the thing. I'm not a very materialistic person. Like, sure, like the most recent thing for anyone who saw my last episode, I got myself a blue snowball. Has my life changed some monumental thing to now I'm making millions of dollars? And
Yeah,
I got, like,
you're rich as crap right now. You're in a mansion now that you bought a fucking blue snowball.
Dude, I wish I was in a mansion.
No, you know what changed? Your audio quality. That's it.
Yeah.
You're still the same guy.
I'm still, it's funny. Just speaking on some glitz and glamour stuff, I rewatched, because obviously, like on my channel, I still have like my live streams. Some of them are privated, just because there were some that I just didn't want to get rid of that I thought were really fun to look back at.
Yeah, I understand that.
When I tell you, though, the amount of... I'm trying to figure out a good word. So, like, if you were to ever watch, like, old recordings of yourself, like, early on during YouTube times, you even might remember with me, I thought I always sounded so energetic in videos, when I really sounded, like, extremely low, monotone, uncharismatic at all. And now, even going back as far as 2016, it was like, yeah, I'm charismatic, but I'm still too scared to go past that boundary to really be authentic to myself and say things like unapologetically. I still kind of am now, but that's with the higher, that's with the the internet now being a bit more of a hateful place, which we'll get into that, by the way. That's actually part of topic 3. We'll get into that. But no, like I tell all my friends, it's like, hey, if you think you can buy my happiness with material things, no, that's not gonna work. Like, I'll be very thankful. Like, let's just say hypothetically, if Christian bought me a PlayStation 5, I will be thankful to the gods that he got me that. But does that automatically, like, make me want to bend to his whim and do stuff? No. And even Christian knows that. Like, he would never want that. He would just want me to enjoy the console. Obviously enjoy, like, you know, the faster loading speeds, higher quality, you know, graphics and stuff. All the next-gen console gaming stuff. But there are some times where I'm like, there are people who think that these material things are going to make people like me and all this stuff.
Oh, no. I've had that happen to me, actually. Someone, like, did horrible wrong things to me in high school. And they bought me, I think it was, like... What was it? It was some new game at the time. For, like, the PlayStation 3 or something. And they were like, oh, yeah, here you go, sorry. I'm like, this doesn't change anything. Now I just have a game from you. Thanks, though, I guess. Like, I don't... You can't buy people's, like, forgiveness.
Did they try to buy you the game as, like, I'm sorry, I screwed up, kind of bad sort of thing?
Yeah, but without saying sorry. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here, I gave you this. We're cool now, right? It's like, no. You're still, like, a jerk. How about you actually, like, hang out with me and, like, you know, we work it out over time. Don't just try to buy my forgiveness.
Yeah, and that doesn't work because I won't give details to, like, recent stuff that's happened. Right. But Ricky's had friends that think, like, they want to drop everything. They think instantaneously they get all this high quality stuff and then they'll become internet famous. That doesn't work.
No, and quite honestly, I don't talk to these friends anymore, so I don't mind talking about it. I'm not going to say names because that's just rude, but I think it's just disgusting to me. If I have people around me that are like, I'm doing this for views, and I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be huge, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be the biggest thing ever. And it's like, you and every 12-year-old with a YouTube channel. Like,
yeah,
it's a childish thing to think. Instead of focusing on the glitz and glamour, which is this topic, focus on having fun, creating, and don't just pump out stuff. Don't just try to feed that algorithm too much. I mean, you can see our podcast is whenever the heck we upload. Just do it and have fun with it. Stop worrying about numbers. Stop worrying about views and no. I think it turns people into gross, disgusting creatures, in my opinion.
Well, when you focus towards the algorithm, here's the thing. There have been multiple times, like, what was it? I'll just say even a person I like recently, Jacksepticeye. Jack had to go face something that he actually, I believe, said in one of his... He recently replayed the Until Dawn series, or game, whatever. And I think it was episode 2 or 3. He actually I think he paused during it. I saw it as a Twitter clip, but it was him saying, I don't know if he wanted to continue Until Dawn. Because the first episode did so great. The second episode didn't do that great. And here's the thing. Jack's life is YouTube. That's his bread and butter. He makes his money and his life from YouTube. So that is different. Jack actually having to do good and be at the top of his game and show up on the algorithm, having a video that absolutely tanks and you have to talk to your your like marketing reps, your YouTube reps about saying like, what happened? And it was the fact that just that video was not fed to the subscribers because it just wasn't that favorable. So that's different. But when you're someone like, just right now, like let's just say this for you and I, Ricky, this is like a small little fun passion project.
Oh yeah.
And if we get any of you that are dedicated viewers who like this vibe,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great to have the few of you that maybe will share this, build it up, and it could turn into something more. But we're not going into this expecting it to be something more than it is. We're going
Right.
into this just to give, I mean, granted, going into this to give some unsolicited advice, but also 97% of this being purely hypotheticals from our own experience. We don't expect to make money or for this to be life-changing for us. We just want to do this as something fun to pass the time because the world's on fire.
I speak from experience, in my opinion. I used to be, I don't, like I said, I don't want to be rude and say certain things and names, but I was on a podcast from 2015 up until, I want to say 2016. And it was doing numbers. It was doing big. I was probably the fakest person ever in those time periods because that's all I did. That's I didn't have a job at the time. That's what we did. I did have a job. I took care of my mother at the time. But when I wasn't doing that, I was doing the streaming, the YouTube stuff. And that's how I know a lot of what I know now. But I've been there. I've been in that state of where you think glitz and glamour. Oh, we're going to blow up next month. Oh, this collab's going to do us numbers. It became so exhausting. I took 2 years off of not doing any of that. And just kind of like reset everything, focused on real life. And now, like on this podcast, I don't expect to do numbers. I don't care. I genuinely do not care if this has 1 million views or 2 views. The fact that anyone watched it, I think is a great thing. I think that anyone listening right now is awesome. And I'm glad you're getting something out of it. And if you're not, that's totally cool too. Like, I get it. Like, expectations need to be reasonable.
Well, that I've grown to the thing where this kind of bleeds into topic 2, but I won't go too deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can say this for the both of us. Ricky and I have fallen onto some cancel culture trains where we will hate on people just because it's everything that's trending.
Yeah.
But we're now on the end where I feel like we're going on the tail end where now everyone is sort of looking at cancel culture as a bit of a joke. And people are going into, I would hope, this is kind of the phase that I'm going into. And I would hope that, like, if people in the comments ever had something that was wrong with the podcast or it was something that just didn't really work. I am an art student at heart. While I might have a white-collar job, I'm an art student at heart, which means constructive criticism and what I would like to deem as constructive criticism culture is not having the expectation that everyone's going to rally behind you and cancel this person off the internet. No. This is, you are going to leave feedback in the comment section of a YouTuber's video. And you would hope that maybe they read a couple of them and maybe take some of that feedback to heart. If they don't, it's kind of one of those, oh, well, they'll reap what they sow eventually sort of things. Or they take it in really small bits and pieces and, change themselves within a very big reason. Not just changing it to fit every single person because you can't please everyone. That doesn't work. Don't try to do that.
No.
But, yeah. That's all we want. That's all we would want out of this channel is for you guys to be open and honest with us. We are trying to be open and honest, obviously, with also keeping in fact of, like, privacy and discretion and professionalism on this. And, making sure we don't put anything out on the internet that we don't want out there, because as you guys have probably all seen, you could say something and then the internet's going to take very fine and skewed points of a podcast and they'll use it against people. So when we have done the Middleton Nighttime broadcast so many times out of recording, we're like, we have to be careful what we say. We have to be careful what we say. We have to be careful what we say. So,
I just think cancel culture is a bad idea. Unless, like, specifically, they did something heinous and horrific, like, horrible stuff. You know what I mean? Like, against the law kind of stuff. But there's certain people that get canceled for, like, oh, I can't believe they played that game incorrectly. It's like, alright, chill.
But, that does bring up, like, the only thing that I wish I kind of said last episode, it was kind of relevant, was where is that energy of canceling people when it comes to world events?
I don't like politics. Why would I get involved? Oh, but you'll get involved in Markiplier's drama.
Markiplier, Shane Dawson,
whoever.
whoever.
It's the same stuff. Okay. But a celebrity, that's when I start caring.
But, like, the honest thing is, like, where is that? Because
I love Markiplier, by the way. Don't take that the wrong way. I just wanted to say that for the people listening. I love Mark. I just think people that idolize YouTubers, celebrity, I'm going to consider them celebrities, I guess. They're entertainers. People that idolize them and focus so hard, it's just like, apply that to other places, not just this, you know?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we said this in our last episode. Politics is not fun. At least I don't personally find it fun.
I think focusing on anything that's serious and real life is what is a turnoff to some people, because they want to escape and not face reality when they have downtime from work or other situations. And so because of that, they never eventually face that, because they're always in a sense of, I want to avoid it, I want to have a good time. But to a degree, that's a bad thing, because you're never facing reality. So putting yourself out there a bit to face it, is it healthier than avoiding it altogether?
Yeah, and again, like, I'll say this, I am not a person that enjoys politics. I would rather be, like, just playing Final Fantasy 14 all day. I would just like to do my job.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just like to create.
All of us would love that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Neither of us are telling you guys that you have to go absolutely into the deep end with politics. You don't have to know everything right away. There's so much crusty, old, dusty, musty people and books of the government that are so dull and mundane to pour through.
Yes.
But I'll say this, and this is the closest I'll probably ever get to politics on this. The government hopes you're stupid.
Yeah, they want you to conform and not care. It's ironic. They want you to just not give a crap and move on day to day, you know. And that way they silently pass bills and silently do stuff because you weren't paying attention.
But now it's like, because here's the thing. TikTok and Twitter are two things.
I blame both of those platforms.
Well, I'm going to get into this because this will bleed into our next topic.
I'll let you lead.
So, Twitter and TikTok are two platforms
that suck.
I'm just kidding. That you have to take. Let me actually rephrase that. Ingest in very small quantities, because you're gonna see some raw takes, some good, some bad, some indifferent. You're gonna probably see videos that you probably shouldn't see ever, but people will post and post and post everything. And just recently, I won't give names on the bills and acts that passed, but we all know them. If you're on the internet, you knew about them. Things don't get passed that much. And also, for better or worse, now every single person in the world is hyper aware of every single sickness that is out there. That comes to doing your own research and making sure to check that it's not something that's going to kill you. If it is, then maybe take a little bit more of a precaution towards it. But if it's not killing a bunch of people and it's just a common sickness, that's different. But this all goes into something, whether it's politics, whether it's life, whether it's money, whatever it is, this starts going into the part that can make people honestly feel a little defeated. And that's realistic expectations, but also learning to not settle. For anyone who doesn't know what settling means, settling for people is when you're like, my life's never going to get any better than this. My life and what I do is never going to change. It's always going to be this 9 to 5, every day, like, dead-end job.
I have coworkers who have definitely settled, and, you know, they are older, some of them. But, you know, it's sad because it's never too late to change up your life or your goals.
Mm-hmm.
You could be, I don't know how old you are. You shouldn't be 12 or 16 listening to this, or you could be 30 or whatever. I don't know, 52, any age. It's a like a lot of it for some people is they feel like they've achieved everything. Like, oh, okay, I got a girlfriend, I got a house, I got a boyfriend, you know, whatever, whoever you're dating. and they feel like they're comfortable, but you should always have a goal, something driving you forward, something pushing you. I think creatively, I think everyone should have a hobby personally as well, because that keeps your brain active, keeps you motivated to create. Like, I love arts. I love drawing, music, anything with your hands or your brain that you're just creating like that. Everyone should have a hobby.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you collect Funko Pops, man. Just do something.
There is kind of a thing that, I don't know if you know who the YouTuber Daz is.
I might have heard of them. They sound familiar.
He put something out recently that was really good. I want to play it because it kind of pertains to topic 2, a little bit to 3, but I feel like it really talks about this topic. And I'm going to play the audio.
Okay.
And everyone just enjoy the listen, and then Ricky, feel free to give any of your thoughts and opinions after we hear it. So,
alrighty.
Here.
We want to be rather than proud of the identity we were born with. And that's the problem with the world today. So many people are masking mental illness and hiding away from it behind a wall of the idea we can be anything. And this is why a lot of people, I think, get very confused, worried, scared, sometimes angry and annoyed at this whole identity crisis that the world's going through. Because everyone has to ask the question, where is the line? Where does it stop? The entire inward structure of mankind can just crumble if we don't know who the fuck we are.
Which I think is very true. So, like I said, when it comes to taking TikTok and Twitter with, with a fine straw, this is gonna be very revealing about myself, but for anyone who doesn't know, like, I technically have 2 sets of pronouns. I go by, your generic male, he, him pronouns, but I also back and forth toiling with demons and trying to reinvent myself as I'm becoming more independent. I have also fiddled with the they them pronouns. No one really calls me that, and I'm not going to ever force people to. Because that is a big deterrent, because there are always going to be people who are going to use pronouns or going to use basically anything, because there are some people who just thrive on starting any BS. I'm gonna be completely honest there are some people who will even thrive on your friend being there for you and not wanting it, and they'll go to your other friends and just start drama, and I'm like,
I hate that. I've had friends like that where they act like they're my best friend, they act like they're super supportive, but then like we try to lean on them, they're just, no, sorry, busy, that sucks. Then they go and like talks, like you said, they spread it to friends, and then it's this drama thing. I don't know.
And then people are like, what happened, da 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 da, and then it's kind of the what you say versus what they say.
Suddenly there's sides to pick, which I think is dumb. Like, there's an evil and a good, even though it wasn't even about that. It was about chicken soup or something random.
But like what Daz says in that video, I feel like so many people, and this kind of pertains to what we're talking about with glitz and glamour, so many people go onto YouTube, go onto Twitter, see all these successful people and love what they have, and then the realistic amount of work, the expectations that come with it, and just how much work there is. Because let me put this out here for people. Just this podcast alone, like the art you're seeing, I handmade that. The what would I say, the video editing, making the GIF, Ricky recording audio to send to me, that's work on his part, me recording my audio, then the couple hours of editing that I have to do, the couple hours of rendering, then going up on YouTube, putting the thumbnail on, putting the description in, putting the end cards, all that work being done by one person is hard. And that's why you'll see that like a lot of these people who are successful artists and YouTubers and media creators, some might do it all themselves. And hey, for all my artists and like creators that are doing this by themselves, like, big freaking claps for you all. But for the others, like, for some big YouTubers, they have media coordinators. They have, like, they have brand reps. They have video editors. And the only thing the YouTuber does is half the time confirming, like, hey, this fits within, like, my theme. Or they are doing the actual recording. And as soon as it's done, it's shipped off to someone else to do the work. And it's a lot when you take all that, and it's a couple hours of work. And sure, it doesn't seem like a lot for what Ricky and I are doing, because initially these are only supposed to go out every month. But if Ricky and I had a schedule of, hey, we need to put a podcast out for every week, that can get really time consuming.
Yeah.
Because a lot of YouTubers will go from, like, I don't know if this is like every YouTuber. They might do one a day. But it's like, you could record a couple videos a day. You could record a video every single day and edit it right after. But that's still the work. Like, Ricky, I don't know. For you, for example, in any of your creative, like, processes, what has always been something that you're always like, I love this, but it does take countless hours?
Something in, like, personally that I've worked on, not with a group.
Either or. Whatever
True.
you're most comfortable with saying.
No, I'm comfortable saying. I'm just thinking because, like, there's a lot that I do.
To see.
With solo stuff like Stankfox, like my brand, if you want to call it that. I hate that word, but whatever. My Bandcamp, let's just say that. That takes a lot of time. A lot of those songs, they were made 4 months ago, and I've been slowly working on them on and off, a couple minutes out of the day, trying to work and just make sure that it's good. Because I have the whole mind process where I'll open a song and I'll work on it for like 15, 20 minutes, and if I feel like it's going nowhere, I set it aside, I work on it the next day or 3 days later. I come back to it. I don't want to force anything. I don't want to be like, oh, we're finishing it today because I have a quota to meet. No, that's not art. It wouldn't be a good song. I know some people work that way, and that's awesome. I can't work that way. But if we're talking group projects, I would say my friend Kitty on the Brew. I'm very proud of that show. A lot goes into it, though. I mean, a lot. To the point where I think we're doing once a month, maybe twice. There's just a lot of editing. But it is worth it when it comes out. And I want to say my friend Gonzo does reaction videos, and I'm sure there's a lot of editing into that too, because we all get together, we record the audio, right? We react over it, we record the screen. Well, then he takes our audio, isolates it, and then takes the whole movie or whatever we're watching, separates that into its own separate file so that the audio is split. So basically, imagine dropping a 2 to 3 hour movie into an editing program and letting it render. That alone, if you have edited anything, Jake, you know that pain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a Surface Pro 7, everyone. This little tablet body computer, Microsoft, y'all popped off on this one. But this computer doesn't have a GPU. So this is all being done by the computer's CPU, which gets very warm, and I essentially, when I video edit, I'm leaving this tablet alone. It's going through hell in a handbasket to like render this stuff, and I'm just cheering this little buddy on as the only program I'll have on when I'm rendering, because it takes 3 hours to render one episode for you guys. That's an hour and a half. I leave it alone, and I'm cheering on this little tablet. But it's a lot of work. I feel like I agree with what you say, Ricky, because recently I was getting out of art block, and I'm still kind of in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten to the point where now I find when I put a due date on myself, especially for my artwork, especially for this podcast, it makes me feel rushed, and it makes me not want to like edit. Because again, I feel like what you said, it's like I'm trying to meet a quota. But it's like, what freaking quota? I'm setting it for myself, and I'm putting my own downfall on it because
I'm gonna loop this back to the Jacksepticeye comment, and just because you said Jack, not because of any other reason. YouTubers that have a quota and have to meet certain demands. Like, I know, like, people want to be huge YouTubers, but one thing you have to keep in mind is, like, when it's your livelihood, which is what everyone wants. They want to be able to do the bare minimum, make a lot of money, and be famous. That's everyone's dream. And I'm not saying YouTubers do that. I'm just saying, that's like that's the glitz and glamour, the topic one. Let's just say, I don't know, Jake had this, right? Overnight blows up. Well, all of a sudden, the happy little podcast that we do for fun, now 5 a week. And they have to all be edited. Yeah, exactly. But you have to do that because now you got to pay your bills because now it's your job.
Now imagine if that was the quota, though. Like, you had... Because here's the thing.
And that doesn't account for the editor you have to pay for, the graphic artist who has to do the art for you. And, maybe you're doing some editing and artwork yourself, but you can't do all of it yourself. So now some of that money is being split. Put into the editor, put into the freaking graphic artist. And now, I need to make more money. So those 5 episodes a week become 7 days a week.
Plus, it's also for the fact of, like, and this is on some, like, real stuff. When it comes to Twitch and YouTube, and this is how I think it works. Subscribers don't necessarily mean... so subscribers get your channel pushed to the front page of everything.
Yes.
But the views, YouTubers make a certain amount of money per view, per watch time.
Right. You could have 10,000 subscribers, but if you're only having 50, 60 views per video, you're really not doing that hot. And that's why I said earlier, don't worry about the numbers, because like I said, you could have 10K, but you're only getting 80 people watching.
Yeah.
They don't mean anything.
Like, I have probably like 800 and some followers on my Instagram.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, there's only like 5 to 6 to 7 genuine people that always comment all the time, giving
Those
criticism.
are the people I love, by the way. Those few small people that even check out anything we do. You are awesome. That's what I mean by numbers don't matter. It's the interaction, the people that go out of their way. I love that.
Yeah, I felt so bad because so I was talking with a big artist that I love. I love them. Their work's so good. They do Danny Phantom artwork, like their own custom, like after story and everything. Great. I might send you them. She's grand. I saw on her she still uses Tumblr, and she was like, should I even keep posting on Tumblr? Because she loves that site, because that's where
I believe love Tumblr, dude.
Like, that's where she started, I believe. It was either that or DeviantArt. And it's one of those things where you're like, is it even worth posting on here anymore? But then I saw, like, in her, I think what's like Tumblr's comment sections are called notes. So many people still there, still giving love. And an artist could have all the followers in the world, but no comment section, no interaction with that artist. That is a very one-sided, like, relationship. And while you should never have a parasocial relationship, if you can build actual friends with some users in your early days, that's something that an artist, a creator, anyone will cherish forever.
Remember Lixian, Markiplier? I think Lixian was one of the first dudes who, like, animated his videos. Now, gosh, 10-something years later, the dude's editing for Markiplier. That wasn't even, like, on the board initially, you know? It's crazy.
Well, you even have to think about Ethan. Like, Ethan was just a dude that wanted to meet Mark because he was a fan.
Yeah.
Did backflips and stuff. And then, God, they made Unis Honest as a channel, which I'm sorry for everyone who didn't get to experience Unis Honest. You can probably see some clips on YouTube, but that was an experience.
Yes.
And
remember when they cooked breakfast with the vibrators?
Remember the BDSM breakfast where the mailman came to...
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
The fact that even Amy in the background behind the camera just zoomed in on Ethan, absolutely cracking up and dying over it. That, oh God, that was a good. That they could not also have done that at a better time, since they did that during 2020. I think that was like a channel that was some people's rock, and then like them deleting it, and that was like a way to say like goodbye to 2020. But yeah, it's like I want to let people know this to round this out and going on to topic 3. Just because we're talking about realistic expectations and not settling for things, we're not saying that what you want you can't achieve. You can achieve everything, but it's not just the, hey, go out and work hard and you'll get everything you want. No, it's networking. It's finding people who are like-minded to you while also still not putting yourself in an echo chamber of people who just want to say yes because you might be too sensitive to take the constructive criticism that's going to come with you putting yourself into a creative space. I've had to learn that. I've had to accept that. I've had to accept that I'm not going to make everyone happy. And you know what? That is perfectly freaking fine. So when it comes to all this realistic expectations and not settling, this goes into our final topic of the podcast, which is finding yourself, your skills, and I want to add a little third piece to this. Finding yourself, your skills, but also finding your healthy limit.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this was also gender identity. I know earlier you mentioned you were...
I would love to say, I mean, we can pull that into this if you want.
I'd like to a little bit, if at all, or, you know, if I'm allowed to.
Do you want to start with that first, just so it doesn't go
yeah,
out of
because I feel like
squirrel brains?
that was a thought I wanted to bring up earlier that I feel like we just brushed past, like, oh yeah, they, them, okay, bye. Like, I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, I do a lot of stuff with friends, so I apologize if I'm always like, oh, did I say that? Did I not? But I myself am he, they, gender fluid. To me, that is so, like, not a big deal, because I have lived that life since late 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I kind of kept it to myself, and I kind of, like, slowly did small things to experiment, feel around, see what if he felt comfortable with, and what people around me felt comfortable with, and obviously I don't care if people don't like that I am who I am, because that's who I am, but more of, if they aren't accepting, okay, well then these are the people that need to go, kind of thing, you know. But
yeah, and I mean, I might just, by the way, for you and I might just pop up like your old avatar of Rick that appeared on the old version of the podcast, as well as like my little Samsung avatar. It's like,
yeah,
Ricky and I don't know, maybe if the world does get a tinier bit accepting, we get surrounded by more people that accept this, but it's like Ricky and I have shared like clothes that we wish we could wear more, like things we'd want to do like with our body and our hair, and it's not like, you know, going through the things of like what trans people go through where it's like surgery and it's all this stuff. No, but it's like, you know, like me going out, like I'm a friggin' stick, I'm a twink, y'all, but going out in like a crop top or like one of those like fashionable like crop tops and then like crop top like jean jackets over that, it's like I would love to be able to do that, because the guys that wear crop tops, y'all got a certain kind of power.
Yes.
And it is terrifying in the best way.
When I get a little thinner, and that's not like, oh, I can't do that now kind of thing, it's just more of a preference. When I get a little thinner, more comfortable in my body, I want to wear like those big, tall, like goth boots. Oh, that'd be so cool. I've been always wanting to get those. But I've kind of like not mellowed down with it, but I'm in the good medium point that I feel comfortable with, where it's kind of like gender neutral, kind of like, oh, everything mixed matched into one kind of thing with my current avatar, I feel. You know, the short hair, you know, the ears, yeah.
Just for fun, have you ever seen, and this is tooting some guys, by the way, I'm just saying this. Have you ever seen what guys look like in women's jeans?
Yes. Put a picture right up on screen right now.
It lifts the butt cheeks. Like women's pants on men accentuate everything. But it's also like, for me, there are some like feminine sided things that I don't think I would wear, but I think a lot of clothes that I do believe, in my personal opinion, could be more accepted as a unisex thing. Oh, love. As well as, this is a funny thing. and I'm pretty sure a lot of you all feel like this. Whenever I hear myself, I feel like I hear myself 2 or 3 octaves higher than probably everyone who like hears me. Because obviously, still, when I listen back to these recordings, I'm much deeper than how we perceive ourselves. So I always thought I sounded pretty girly as a dude, and it didn't help anymore when a lot of the stereotypes that generally come, like with being like anywhere on the queer spectrum, is like, hey, you're probably gonna have a little bit of a fairy voice. And here's the thing: when Ricky and I get into it, sometimes in private calls,
Yeah, sometimes it comes out.
bit,
Yeah.
but most of the time, because we're still like this, and the world is very hateful right now. There is the the lowering of the voice and talking down here.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes in public.
I live in the southern state, Florida, and I wouldn't say all the time I'm not myself. I think right now I am myself. I am this way with my sister, my family members. I don't care. My friends too, even in real life. But certain social settings, like, I don't know, like a Cracker Barrel or something, I put on a little bit more of a straighter, yeah, you gotta be careful in certain areas, like, okay, I might get beat up here if I drop a Yas Queen, or if I just, raise my voice a little too high.
Boots the house down for your nerves work, queen.
Yeah, certain things, and it is annoying, but in my case, it's sad, I'm just used to it. I would love to just not be able to change who I am around people, but that's the world, I don't think we're gonna ever get to the point, and maybe this is dark, I really don't think ever we're gonna be socially accepted, so you just kind of have to say screw it at some point and just be you anyway. But
that also goes to, like, sure, not everyone's going to accept what you do, but I honestly think that the true nature of the world is just how everything would be. If everyone accepted everything, the world would be boring. And I know in this term, that's probably not the best thing to say, but this is
because it's uncomfortable. It's true, though. It's in our nature as humans to judge each other and pick out the weird ones and put ourselves higher on the hierarchy above people.
And I'm not separated from that at all. I've done that.
Everyone's done that. Even people that say, no, I've never done. No, you've done that. To some degree, you've done that.
And I think what I've done, and even you said this yesterday, we're finally just getting to the point where we're tired. We're gonna try to still learn new people. We're never gonna say like, hey, we don't want to invite new people into our lives. If you're a butthead of a person, that's my substitute word for this, we are going to kick you out of our lives faster than Sonic the Hedgehog can run across the world, because there's been so much hate, so much stuff. And the biggest polarizing thing that I said is like an example to Ricky. I won't go and say the entire example, but it's funny that you can go online on Twitter and be like, X politician found with X confidential files and a knife, saying he's going to go out and like go against so-and-so. It's like, and then you'll like leave that and you'll get like a message from like your boss or a friend. And it's like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Or it's like, hey, Jake, on this file, can we like fix like these 2 things? Like, thank you, and I hope you have a nice weekend. It's like, what kind of like mental therapy do we all need? Because I've always said, like, go touch grass, y'all.
Yes.
But it's just like, it is weird when it's like going on Twitter and TikTok, it's like everyone's dying every single second. You leave your house, you're dead. But then it's like, you go outside, you breathe like fresh air, the birds are chirping like they have no freaking care in the world, and the wind's just blowing, and you're like, I'm in the biggest juxtaposition mode of my life, and I don't know how to handle it.
I think the internet is to blame. I don't mean the people on it. No, just the internet in its entirety is just anonymity. And once you're behind that for so long, you feel like, oh, no matter anything I say online, it's not going to matter. Nothing's ever going to come back to bite me. I'm anonymous. No, you aren't. Every company ever, Twitter, Google, Facebook, Instagram, I don't care what you do, you're using a throwaway email, they've tracked you, they have your stuff. They, if you say something to a degree that is messed up, they will find you. Unless you're using like super VPNs and all this stuff, they're gonna know.
God, what was
but
it?
social media, and I have it and I use it because we have to stay connected. It's just what it is. Like, we're on a Discord call right now. We have to. But social media is warping us as a society, and we're just meaner to each other. Because, it's the internet. I'm never going to meet them. Jake's never really going to beat my butt. But guarantee you, if I said some messed up stuff to him, I fly down. First thing he's going to do is punch me in the freaking arm and be like, that was for this. Like,
I just punch you in nads.
There's a movie about that. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. They find all the IP addresses to the people that were trolling them and hating on them. They fly to each individual one of their houses. They're like, "Hey, is this you?" Yeah. And they just punch them in the face and walk away. That's just what I imagine.
This does bring up something though that's kind of interesting, because we are in an age of like the most minimalist, simplest, boring color of marketing and buildings and anything that we could ever be in. Because guess what? That is cheaper when it comes to making things. We are at a point where many of us, like I would say even for, they like to direct this towards like my generation, where it's like a lot of us really grew up post 9/11 times. But here's the thing that happened during post 9/11. Things got very serious and things got interesting. And a lot of people, like Ricky said, wanted an escape. They wanted to escape all the crap that was happening, because nowadays what people are finding out is there were politicians that lied. There were people who wanted to spark wars, because the only thing that is this is really sad, and this is also like me playing a little bit of bias here. The only the only export thing that America has is sending people to fight wars that America shouldn't have stepped in to begin with, because we don't even play nice with ourselves. And that is a hot take that is probably not 100% right, and I don't know the intricacies of all the DoD, but when I particularly say this, we have so much stuff that I think just now people are getting to the point where there's been so much fighting, there's been so much stuff, and because yours, mine, and maybe some of the like lower end cycle of Gen X are seeing where it's like, we're so done with these flip-floppy rules. It's either like we're gonna fight and get them put in, or the things that need to be kicked out are going to be kicked out. And I think this is everyone literally now coming to the realization of having these, for better or worse, like Ricky said, if you were a politician, if you're someone in the government, if you're a normal person, your stuff is on the internet.
Sorry.
Hit that subscribe button. No. God damn it.
Yes, everyone's info's online. Sorry, I just want to make a joke. Make it a little lighthearted.
But it's like, again, like everyone's stuff is on the internet. If a millennial, if a Gen Z who's very work savvy on a computer can find your information, they're going to dox you. They're going to find a way into your bank account. They're going to find every single way to ruin you if you are someone whose daily life goes out and ruins someone else's. So people are finding themselves. They're finding their skills. And they're finding, on a happier note, as we get near the end of this podcast, again, finding yourself in what makes you happy. Like Ricky and I don't think Ricky and I want to live these loud TikTokers and loud YouTube like lifestyles where everything's wah wah wah, and I was crying like that on my
for a long time.
But it's like we're not like crying on our floor eating a tub of KFC and crying that our parents don't accept us. We're taking charge and finding what we want, and we are quite literally on a lot of long-term projects to get loved ones and be with them where we want. We're getting some materialistic things that we're like, hey, this isn't gonna buy me happiness forever, but it is a goal to strive for. Like a goal. Like I was talking about how a PS5 is never going to bring me happiness, but is that like a nice kind of
that'd be a cool
goal
thing
to save up to?
Yeah.
So, I think at the end of the day, all this stuff that we're trying to say is time. Well, time might not have been on any of our sides this past 3 years, because like, it's been tough. Like I had to leave YouTube. Which was the scariest thing in my life, because I think I made a lot of friends. I don't think I would have been friends with Ricky if I didn't do YouTube, which is one of the craziest things to think about when Ricky and I have almost been friends for a decade.
You were like totally different back then. Like obviously the same because you're the same guy. But in terms of like attitude, oh my god, dude, you total 360. You've grown so much.
I did not like how I was before. I mean, there were obviously some things, and I think a lot of it came from, you know, my parents were never in my creative life. I feel like I can talk to my parents on some things, but if I talk too much to them, they get bored and all they want to do is listen to quiet or TV or whatever. Yeah. Whereas, like, I can talk with Ricky here. We could literally talk about the intricacies of a nipple for an hour and somehow find it interesting.
Just kidding.
Don't challenge me, man. I will try to.
Welcome
have
to the
that
Nipplecast. Our host, Jake.
Is that the after hours version of this stream that can only be put on Patreon?
No, it's the new name. Read the script. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
The logo is just a nipple. It's Ryan Peck.
Oh my god. There was a person too who actually told me, funny enough. I don't know if you saw my recent Instagram story where it was just like the close-up of Ryan's chest. And someone was like, I opened this up at work. And I was like, why did you open it at work?
Maybe you shouldn't follow people like that and then open it at work.
Good lord. Self-control, y'all. But yeah, no, to round this out and to end this on like a happier note, just because I want to, I think where Ricky and I are probably going to become, I'm knocking on my wooden desk right now, just because the world is crazy. At this current moment, as of recording, I think things are pretty okay. Could things be better? Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. But I think things are okay. And it's ever fluctuating, it's ever changing, but I'm happy where I am right now. Because like once Ricky and I get off of this recording, I'm probably just going to play some Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
For a little bit.
Cat people.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot their technical name.
If you ever make a Makote, I'm going to be so excited to see what... Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely making one when I join. I've already decided that.
But I'll probably do that, and I'm going to finish the picture I've been working on. It's almost done. I kept flip-flopping, but last night when I put a story out, I was like, I'm not going to do an intricate background for once. I think I'm just going to do something abstract because I don't want to do backgrounds. But yeah, so again, I hope this wasn't like a too much of a downer podcast for everyone to listen to, but I think a lot of what Ricky and I are saying overall is don't think you're gonna get everything instantaneously, but don't think you're never gonna get it at all. Like, did I ever think I was ever gonna be in the position in the future where I might be able to ever get a car? Hell no.
But look at you now.
Yeah, it's like I'm working hard. I'm being told that I'm in a very healthy working environment, which my team lead was like, hey, have you like not been in very healthy working environments or lifestyles in the past few years? And I was like, nope. And she's like, I feel ya. And I was like, I feel seen. And she would always tell me like every day, like, you're doing a great job on this, good job, all this stuff. And there have been like some critiques, obviously. I don't know how to do everything with the job, but for the most part, it's been so much minor stuff. And I'm pretty happy with that. It's very weird to have a job where your team lead's like, hey, you're doing great.
Yeah, you know, having other coworkers appreciate the hard work you do is like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, and even like with work or personal projects. Like at some point, I even want to, obviously when Ricky and I can have more time, but it's like I would even love to like just get FL Studios and have Ricky teach me how to make music, because for anyone who wants, Ricky and I are planning to make a podcast, like a public playlist on Spotify that you guys can go listen to, that will have a hodgepodge of songs that Ricky and I like, so you guys can see. Or heck, if you guys want to, I literally have on my Instagram like my highlights of like my favorite pictures, and they all have so many different genres of music that I listen to, from my most extreme EDM that sounds like it would be in a death metal video to like something like this where Ricky and I literally have like
some lo-fi bumping. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Ricky, I don't know, do you have any like any closing advice, anything that you want to touch on a little bit more during our wrap up before we end the recording? Like anything that was in this?
Just some general advice, and probably we touched on it here too. We've talked about so much, but don't take anything an online creator or entertainer does to super like face value degrees. We're all just people at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. I just feel like people need to calm down, just enjoy each other's like company, each other's content, and I don't know, everything's just too tense. That's kind of the point of the podcast, right? To have kind of like chill vibes, everyone's like listening to each other.
Yeah, because let me be honest right now, some colleges have already started, and
I just realized my advice was literally just touch grass.
Yeah, I mean, it still is though, because again, I think
I'm dead.
I actually think one of the things that I realized, and maybe it was my, in a way, a touch grass moment, was when we started like my school online around the time I came back on Discord and chatted with you all. My touch grass moment, I think, was gone when I didn't get my commute anymore from my house to school and from school to back. And, just putting on Spotify in my car and driving on the nighttime roads.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that anymore. And my room became my school workspace.
Prison.
Do you know how toxic that like that became? Because I didn't have a separation of work and
you have
personal.
to. You at least, if you work from home, which I'm sure some people listening to this probably do, have a separate room for work and a separate room for play. As in, like, this room, I do nothing but work. There's nothing distracting me. And in this room, there's video games, there's my bed, all the fun stuff. Or it's going to drive you crazy. Sitting at your desk that you just... Or even if it's the same computer, I get that. Sometimes people can't afford multiple computers. Get a laptop and move it around,
Yeah, like for me, sure, I have my work computer and everything, but I have a separate office. Mm-hmm. And when I go into that room, there's a completely different vibe. There's nothing in that room to distract me. Mm-hmm. I have like my cup of, usually I've been drinking sweet tea in the morning with some ice. I'll go in there, I'll log onto my computer, check my emails. I put on the lo-fi playlist that I'm listening to right now for all the work. I'll mute it if I have to get on calls or talk with someone. And when I'm not, I'm, doing my job and listening to music and vibing through the day. So, yeah, I honestly, this did not get as dark as I thought it was going to, and I am very happy about that, because I honestly thought I was going to have to do a lot more comedy in this than I had to.
I feel like we have the ability to talk about serious stuff while also making it a little lighthearted and digestible.
Yeah, because, I explained this in the last episode. I'm still so scared of being, like, canceled for the smallest thing. Like, I was so tempted. Do you remember how we talked about in the last episode? I was talking about that one movie, which, let me make sure. I want to get the title right. Because I still say, even though this is a very...
well, why you find that? I felt that too. And it's sad that I feel that way. Because, like, that would have never been a thing 4 or 5 years ago. But When I said earlier, numbers don't matter, I don't mean the people behind them don't matter. I literally mean that there are bot accounts that follow YouTubers and Instagram accounts and Twitter to the point where, to a certain extent, like, they don't matter. It's the people that interact and comment, and those are the real people. Like, those are certified, they aren't a bot, you know? Like, that's what I mean by... Don't take the numbers at face value and be like, oh, I have 3,000 subscribers. It's like, okay, well, maybe 2,000 those are actual humans, you know? Those are the ones that matter. Like, don't get caught up in the numbers. Chasing the dream, I guess, is more so. But I have an unhealthy habit of super oversimplifying my statements, so I backtrack and go, oh, hold on, I meant this. Don't come for me.
I think the thing that I wanted to do was and I looked this up now, but it's the movie where I talked about how, remember how we were talking about like how people of their time, a lot of people say, oh, they're just from a different time, they can't learn like new things or be accepting of the ever-changing world of people. But it was when we were also talking about how like I was talking about that 12 Years a Slave movie. Yeah. And I was so scared that I was going to get canceled for that, just posting that. And I was so tempted. How
dare you watch a movie, Jake?
How dare you watch a movie about something that was at a completely different time than what we were in? Why is it so dark outside now?
Oh, you're about to get canceled by God. Here comes the thunder.
It's going to be Satan. God don't want to touch this.
Sheesh.
But no, like being completely like real for the last part of this, it's like I honestly thought I was going to get canceled for that. And I was like, going into this episode, I was like, I don't think I'm going to say anything that's going to get me canceled, because most of the stuff that's getting people canceled is very, very edgy old comedy or very, very bad jokes that, like, the reason why I also have Ricky here for me is to kind of like hot check me on something, being like, no, we really should not go there at all. And if that is true, I would probably cut that part of what he told me out of the podcast, and it would be, you know, slyly moved to the next part of the podcast where we do agree that, like, hey, okay, let's actually talk about this, and then we'll go on to that. But
I got you. The only heat I've ever been under was some trolls that tried to, I don't know, they were attacking our fan base once, being like, we're gonna make fun of them and stuff, and like, we just banned them and that was it. But, you know, for the most part, I'm pretty good with my words, and if I ever notice, oh, hey, that might be taken the wrong way, I try to catch it. And if anyone's like, well, what did he mean by that? Please let me know in the comments, like, if I mess up. Like, I want to be better. I don't want to be canceled. I want to be better.
Yeah, it's like, we'll give context, because I think a big thing that ultimately came of it was, like, Ricky and I wanted to give context in our very first episode of this new podcast about why the episode that was in February got deleted and all the poor stuff that happened because this spring was wild. So we always want to be better. We aren't just we're not going to try to conform to making everyone happy, but we're not going to try to be these brick walls that are like, hey, we're gonna be like dramatic and we're gonna be like saying the most heinous stuff all the time. No, we're not gonna do that. We literally want this to be like something people want to come back to. Like, hey, it's like, oh, Jake's uploaded a new thing. Oh, great, now I can go listen to like Jake and Ricky talk about X thing for an hour and a half or so, which I think is, you know, that's freaking great. That if you guys want to come and listen to us, we are aware that we're just, you know, two more guys on the internet with a podcast
what
talking about random
special?
Stuff. But no, I mean, we are, but you know,
we are special.
Dude, I'm trying. I try to think of myself as special.
We're kind of gods right now. That's all I'm saying.
I might be the god of making buff people, but
yeah, god of cringe.
God of boy, I'm gonna have to come to Florida and I'm gonna have to beat your cheeks.
Be prepared for episode 4 when he comes to my house IRL. Beats my ass.
Just like you're just like, we start I do like, hey everyone, welcome to Middleton Nighttime broadcast episode 4, where I beat the out of Ricky.
It cuts to a ring camera of you banging on my door.
Oh my god.
You see the door open, you just punch.
It's just that episode starts with a full-on skit, and I just start beating the crap out of you.
You mother.
Oh my god. If I did that though, oh my god, Brad would beat the crap out of me.
Then he jumps on you, starts beating you up. It's like a cartoony freaking battle.
Three-way like dust cloud
Yeah.
brawling. Oh my god. But yes, I do want to also still keep this open to you all. If you guys comment a topic that you guys want us to cover, because again, like I'll keep saying this for every single ending of the podcast. I only have planned. God, you have to think now it's only 9 more podcasts for the entire year. But
wow.
that's the minimum, by the way. Like Ricky has a lot more free time now. Does that mean we're going to be recording more often?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. But 10 is the minimum. But who knows, if Ricky and I find ourselves with free time twiddling our thumbs and we think recording an episode of the podcast might be more fun than, you know.
I'm always down, man. I'd love to get like some of your friends on here, like maybe like Christian or something. Be cool.
I'd love to have Christian come over because...
Or Santiago.
Oh, I think you and Santiago would pop off a lot because talking about music.
Bro, he is like so above me in terms of music. Like I'm a fan. I think
You know
he's
what's
a
funny
great
though?
guy.
Is half the time he's just high making music. He's like, this shit's ass.
Bro, his music's great. Tell him that. Tell him I said that. I really do.
Oh,
I think he's
I actually
better
already
than me
did
by
tell him
leagues,
that.
bro.
I love Santiago's also been really nice because during the time when Alec was with his his second ex or whatever, I hung out with Santiago a lot, and like we were working at the movie theater together. We were hanging out all the time, going to see movies. And I definitely vibed with Santiago a lot. I don't see him as much now, but it's because he's trying to get money and everything saved up, you know, to move in with his girlfriend.
Oh, but nice.
I think like next year or in 2 years from now. And so I'm still in that point where I'm a little sad because I don't see them as much and I don't talk to them as much. But it's like I have you to chat with. I have like the few small consistent people that I can chat with, which I think makes it like so much sweeter when I do get to see my friends.
I was
and spend
just
a
about to
couple
say
hours.
it means more when
Yeah.
you see them less.
And it's not like, you know, just because I talk with Ricky almost every single day. Because, like, Ricky and I, God, if you guys all saw, like, Ricky and I talk through Telegram all the time with voice messages just throughout the
So
day when
many.
we find time. And that's just the way we do it. Because it's a little easy. And we can send them on the fly, respond to it as needed. And it is like talking back and forth to each other.
Yeah, it's
But,
that human emotion's there too.
yeah. Oh, my God. One of the episodes, this is planned to be around November or December. I wanted to talk about it was, by the way, this is a very niche topic, but the entire episode of the one that was going to be in the fall / winter time was going to be how crappy phone etiquette texting can sound, how aggressive people can sound through texting, all this stuff. That was going to be a whole podcast topic. Because texting is like the most neutral you can sound to anyone. And sometimes in your head, things can sound a little bit more aggressive than they're intending to be. That's why so much I think I enjoy why Ricky and I do voice messages. Because we're like, there's the human inflection behind it instead of just being like, hey, I'm saying this verbatim, you have to accept that. No.
I have friends like that where, and they just adamantly choose to type over text. They don't want to talk. They don't want to call. But like, if we just called, beef would be squashed in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I can't deal with like unnecessary beef. Like Ricky and I in the past have had beef, but we've since like grown and squashed that stuff. Like that is. Like, that stuff's been Thanos snapped.
Can I just give advice, actually real advice to people who are like paranoid and they think their friends hate them and all? No. I got this from Sharpwing, good friend of mine. Just assume everyone's cool with you, unless they say so otherwise, and just keep living your life. Because if they aren't, like, if they can't just go to your face and say, hey man, I got a problem with this, then like, are they really your friend? You know, I should be able to go to my friend Jake here and be like, Jake, what you said last week really got under my skin. He'd be like, oh, sorry, man, didn't mean to say that. And then, okay, we're good. Like, that's how easy it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be taken aback by it, but then it'd be like, what would be the thing? And then it'd be like this, and be like, oh yeah, well, that sort of was like off the cuff, especially because I think a lot of this stuff comes from the common thing of, you know, the inhibitions go away and a lot of the demons come out when it starts getting kind of late at night.
Oh yeah.
And you start just you think of worst case scenario all the time, and I do that a lot. And I'm like, when I start thinking that, I'm like, okay, it's time to go jump in the shower. It's time to grab a quick drink of juice or something, and it's time for Jake to go to bed. And it's like, I get those bad thoughts over something as simple as like someone slightly raised their voice a little.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's all it takes at night. I think the scientific thing came out recently. I know we were trying to end the podcast, but there's actually like scientific evidence that shows the later you stay up, the more your mind like attacks itself and thinks all these negative things, because it's literally designed, like your brain, not designed, but like genetically you're supposed to be the most happy and active in the morning, and then near the night is when your brain's like, all right, we gotta wind down. So when you're constantly forcing yourself to stay up till 4 a.m., which I know a lot of us do, especially if you're in college right now, your brain actually will start self-attacking and doubting itself, and all this pressure will start hitting you really late at night, and then you can't sleep, and then insomnia hits. It's just bad. It's not good.
You know what you said about like what the advice Sharp gave you about just assuming everyone's good with you?
Yeah.
That's like the thing my college had, where it was just like, don't make up scenarios in your head that haven't happened yet.
Oh, God, so guilty of that.
I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Like, God, what was it? A person that I'm not going to name their name, but a person that is no longer in our Discord group.
Our circle.
Yeah. The best thing I'll say is he was very unmoving about some things. He thought he was a connoisseur in some stuff. He thought he was the shit in some stuff. He thought it was all this, but not really. And every single time he did that, I had the intrusive thought of like, well, I'm shit, I don't know anything. And that, you know, that was real. And that was still coming from a time where I had life experience, but I've still never had a lot of conflict. And I think, luckily, even though at a time when politics was so toxic, we banned it in our chat.
Oh, we're guilty of turning a blind eye and ignoring politics. That's why I said that earlier. I'm from that mindset where, I'll just ignore it, pretend like none of this bad stuff's going on. We did that for a year and it did not work out.
No, we did it too, and
yeah,
it kind of worked with negating people from wanting to talk about it, but it only negated it when the people who put that rule was in the chat.
Right, they would still talk about it.
And we're like, this isn't really going to do anything. But ultimately, I think people still got the message of like, hey, when people are in here, guys, it's late. People don't want to really hear that. And we've also gotten to the point now where it's like, if this is a topic that's going dead end nowhere, I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? Let's just stop this. But if a couple people want to rebut and be like, no, let's keep going just for a little bit longer. It's like, okay, that's different. We're literally getting to the point now where we're not afraid to say what has to be said. And if something has to be squashed and someone in the group chat needs to leave, take some time, maybe discuss it privately with whoever because it maybe made them a little bit uncomfortable that was said, there's no problem with that whatsoever, and I will have that open discussion. Because I just don't like leaving, I don't like leaving things to fester, because then you come back to it and it's even more awkward than just, ripping the bandage off and talking about it. But there are just some people where we see the good in them, but because we see the good in them, that doesn't excuse some of the more heinous stuff that they do. And sometimes they just gotta be, let go. And if they come back and they're a better person, I say better in small ways, great. And if you want to try to be back in the group, great. But if you don't want to learn and you want to stay isolated in a certain way and you're going to be around that group of people, that's the only type of people you're going to be around. And I don't know, it kind of feels like you kind of stagnate a little bit, which I never want to do. I want to keep growing as a person in very small increments.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to really say, unless you do.
No, I think that's about it for me, man.
Well, then I think that's it. So for anyone who wants to know, since this is episode 3, I already have episode 4 planned, which is actually a pretty neat episode because it's a topic on technology. Now, we've already explained like so many stuff with like how bad the internet is and all this stuff, but we wanted to talk about technology, mainly for the fact of like this is going to be a pretty one-sided podcast, but I knew I wanted it to be after this one because I knew that this one's going to be so heavy. And this podcast, hasn't really been bad, but it hasn't really been like stupendous, but there's been learning experiences. So I find this to be a pretty neutral thing to listen to. The next episode is kind of talking about technological innovations, talking about like how graphics have improved, talking about how, games have improved, but it's still also going to be talking about some of the kind of, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's also going to be kind of talking about how the gaming industry has kind of become a little more industrialized, kind of a little bit, samey, and wanting some developers and others to take risks. Like, just recently, it's like Ricky got himself a brand new phone. And like he loves how it looks. And I'm pretty sure what Ricky has is like I'm pretty sure you said it's just Android 12, the standard stock Android look. But it's like, how refreshing is that you come from like the Samsung phones to go to the Moto phones just for, money's sake and all that, and you get this fresh new coat of paint. And guess what? It was a developer who wanted to still keep and take the risk of, hey, we're gonna have just the standard Android icons, so it's wanting to have developers take risks. So yeah, but I think that wraps up this episode of the Middleton Nighttime broadcast. For this episode, I hope you guys liked. I will be going through the YouTube Creator Studio trying to find some liminal space music for you all.
Ooh, yeah.
And I hope you guys like that. I hope it kind of helped mellow this out. Again, the next episode of the podcast will be very much on the lighter end of things. This podcast episode is now coming out in August. We are recording in August right now. It's probably going to come out towards the end of August, like right before September. And then we're going to probably be recording in September for the September podcast, which will be episode 4. So look forward to that. I'm going to be pretty busy during September. So if Ricky and I can find time, that'll be great. But it will probably be strictly on like a weekend just because, oh boy, I'm already seeing some of the stuff that a lot of my coworkers are having to get. And it's busy. Like, I was pretty under the weather today, and I even told my team lead that. So after we made all the corrections to like my stuff that I work on, she was like, you know what, just stay on standby, look out for any emails from me. And I literally just laid down in my bed while just working on my computer a little bit and just ended my day. So I guess to wrap this up, I've tried to work on a bit more of a official Middleton Nighttime broadcast. What would you call it? What do they call it? Like outro?
Yeah, that's an outro.
So I'm gonna try it here. So if you guys like this episode of the podcast, please feel free to go follow Ricky on his channel. All his links are down below. Please feel free to hit subscribe, hit the notification bell for both of us. I know with Ricky having his little PNG tuber, this boy is going to start creating. He has a lot more free time. So if you guys want to see the PNG tuber in action, Make sure to follow Ricky. I guess just to plug yourself, Ricky, are you going to be doing YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming whenever you do it?
YouTube. I've tried Twitch in the past. I just like YouTube's vibe better.
So then, definitely. Ricky has 2 YouTube channels. I think I will probably have both of them linked.
I do?
Down below. So make sure to go follow both of them. Just,
I have
in
two?
case Ricky does. You have 2. You have the one with Brad, and then you have
That's
your
right. Oh my gosh.
normal one.
I rebranded that recently, actually, to Stinkfox Plus.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it just flew better,
Is
Stinkfox
LGBT
Yeah.
is LGBTQ plus the premium version of gay?
And yes, it is. And it's it's very cheap, $7.99. Just donate to ko-fi.com/stinkfox.
Oh my
I'm just kidding.
god.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do
But-
it. It's a joke. It's a joke.
But if you want to, I mean, Ricky's not going to say no.
Hey, listen.
But yeah, so that's it, everyone. We will see you guys in probably roughly a month.
Maybe
it's
sooner.
currently, yeah, because I mean, it's the 12th today,
Yeah.
and so who knows if Ricky and I find time where we just want to try to record September's podcast before September, we may do it. Because literally, I have nothing going on. I work, do housework, make artwork, and maybe soon make music.
Hell yeah. Maybe you could make the music for the podcast. That'd be cool.
Oh, I want to do those. I don't know if you know the actual genre this would be. I might have to send it to you because I have a few examples. Maybe we can listen to some real fast after we finish this recording.
Okay.
I want to make that music that's like, it's like bubbling, but it never really there's no drop. There's no like high energy. It's just kind of like house music where it stays low.
It's probably trance or house music.
So I'll show you some of that after that. But
Yeah.
we will let you all go. We will let you guys enjoy your day, your night, whenever you're listening to this. And we will see you guys soon with episode 4 of the Middleton Nighttime broadcast,
Where I get beat up.
where I beat his ass. Okay, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.